Hi everyone, Hannah here. So in this tutorial we are making our hardbound cover for our junk journal using the May box, the new revamped junk journal. So I have this cutter here that I use, and basically I'm cutting in. I want to get 3 pieces out of this 12 by 12 chipboard that you receive in your kit. So if 12 by 12, roughly you're going to cut along the bottom, and you're going to have a 3-inch by 12-inch. That 3-inch by 12-inch we're going to cut down, and it's basically going to be a 3 by 9. And then your other 2 pieces, or your other large piece, which would be a 9 by 12, you're going to cut that in half, so you're going to have 2 6 by 9 pieces. So we're going to have a pretty good sized journal. And now I'm going to take my scrapbook paper, and I'm going to do the same thing with it. Now the paper is not a true 12 by 12 paper. It's 11 7/8 by 11 7/8. So we're going to have a little bit of a border around it where we're going to see a little bit of the chipboard. For this particular kit, we're kind of doing beachy summer theme. It's not a deal breaker for me. If it is for you, you can always line your chipboard with some cardstock and then glue the paper on top. So, so roughly your bottom part of your scrapbook paper, it's not going to be 3 full inches by 12 inches that you cut. It'll be like 2 7/8 by 11 7/8, and then you just cut that down to where you want it to be on your spine, how much ever you want to have peeking from the top and bottom of your spine. And then your other large piece, cut that in half and just center it on your chipboard. So what now I'm doing is distressing the edges. This is I believe it's a Tim Holtz distress paper distresser. I haven't used it in quite some time. Most of the time I do mixed media stuff, and I just use my scissors real quick. But I really wanted to rough them up pretty good. And you'll see I'm kind of tearing off some of the pages. I just kind of like the look of it. I'm kind of going for, with this being beach theme, I'm kind of going for like a book that got washed up on the shore or something, just kind of old, and we're bringing back new life to it. So that's kind of the theme that I'm going for with this particular project. So hopefully I can, really make it look nice for that particular project. Kind of want it to look old, distressed, kind of worn out, and we're bringing it some life. We found it and we're like, oh, how nice. So now we're going to fix it up a little bit, give it a little love, a little TLC. So I'm just kind of, now I've got this ink here. This is some ink that I've had for several years. And it's definitely in its last days, but it's still got some ink to it, but the spongy part is like falling off. So probably somewhere halfway between our tutorial series, I'm sure I'll just be tearing it off, because I just don't think it's gonna make it. But I really love the color. I think it's, I forgot the brand. It's the Dewdrops, and it's the chalk, Sahara sand or something like that. But anyway, real pretty color, kind of orangey tan, reddish orangey tan color, which I like. And I wanted to have a little bit of some cheesecloth, maybe a little bit of fabric, just kind of peeking out the sides. I just really like that look. And especially since we have some cheesecloth, I want to take full advantage of it. I love cheesecloth. So, just adding a little glue, gluing it down. You really want to add glue in between all your layers so everything adheres and glues down, good. And, you know, a lot of times I'll glue it down, press it down, and then if there's parts of it that's coming back up a little bit, I'm going to add a little more glue, press it down some more. And then sometimes I'll even press a, you know, something heavy or a book on top, you know, just to, you know, keep it flat. And then I'll just kind of fluff up my edges whenever I get back to my project. You know, that way just to let the glue set and everything's, you know, glued down real good. So I'm just gluing this down here. It's actually been a while since I have made, you know, a hardcover journal. It's been a while. It's been a while. I do like, you know, making the hardbound covers or the hardbound journals. I like making the softbound journals. The soft cover journals or softbound, however you want to say it, those are a lot quicker, especially if you don't want to get so involved with the extra steps of a hardcover. You know, because with a soft cover, I mean, you're just taking all your papers, folding them in half, and just sewing it right down the middle, you know, or doing it with your wax linen. So a whole lot simpler than with this step. But I thought, you know, go big or go home, right? And I know it's been a while since we've done the hardbound cover tutorials, and I thought, you know, it's time to do these again. I think it's been a couple of years since I've done some tutorials, so, you know, I thought it's time for a little, you know, refresher course. So now I'm going to start embellishing the cover of the journal. I want to just go ahead and get most of this out of the way so then we can focus on getting all of our pages ready. I really want to take some time doing some videos on that. I want to have a tutorial on making some faux rice paper. I've got tons of dried flowers, petals, foliage, so I am ready, and I want to really take some time to do all of that. So I want to go ahead and get everything done pretty much on our cover. I mean, we're not going to be doing the sewing part until we get all of our papers ready, because I'm still not deciding on what kind of stitching I want to do. I think I want to try I think I want to try something a little different than what I normally do. So that will probably be in the last tutorial for the month, because we'll have everything done and we'll just stitch it on up. So, but for now, I want to go ahead and just embellish the cover. Really, I just want it to scream beach. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. I just love these little postcards. I'm glad that y'all love them too. We've been getting so much good feedback on them. It's just nice to have extra ephemera to cut up and use for your projects. So now I'm going to cut up some lace. I've got to put some lace on here, especially with the new fabric and lace bundle. I'm definitely taking advantage of that, finding any excuse to add some lace, some fabric. I actually forgot about this, so I wanted to put that. You get some of this in your fabric and lace bundle, so I definitely wanted to put some of this on the back. Just kind of have it in the background, and you'll see it behind all the stuff. To me, it just really adds to the beach theme of it. And this is a larger piece of it that comes in the mixed media kit this month, because I really, for that particular kit, you're probably going to need a pretty good bit to cover most of the canvas with it. So just trying to kind of figure out exactly how I want it laid and, positioned for our journal. Just kind of pressing it down. Sometimes it's kind of hard when you've got, different elements stacked on top of each other, and just trying to glue it down and press it down. But what I usually do, and what I ended up doing for this cover, is after I glued everything down, then I just laid a book on top. Not a heavy book, but just something to gently press it down, let everything set, because I don't want the glue setting and drying with things kind of buckled up. So I thought I would take one of the journaling cards, poke a hole, and put these little brads in it around the four corners of it. Kind of make it pop and be the focal point of the front of the cover. The first brad was pretty easy to get into. This second one is not easy. So I just end up pausing the video and going over and getting my little thing. One of my friends, she used to make these and sell them, and she would take a cork from a wine bottle, and then she would take a large thumbtack and put down in there, and it's a great way, to poke a hole in your paper to put your little brads in. So, I've kept them. I've got several of them. I really only need one, but I think I've got about 3 or 4 of them, and I just keep them, you know, in case if someone needs it or something, I can send it out. But it's a great way to poke a hole. That way you don't have to get out, you know, the equipment, so to speak. So I do have the equipment. I just, you know, sometimes you just want to sit and craft. You don't want to be lugging out all this heavy equipment and using it. You know, I just want a scrapbook. I just want a junk journal. I don't want to do any heavy construction. So, but I really like how this is turning out. I'm kind of thinking maybe it's a little too low or something. You know, or, well, it was low. I think I raised it up. So, and because it was kind of a little too low. And the journaling card was going to end up being basically at the bottom of the book, and I wanted it kind of more toward the center. So I'm really liking how that looks. So I want to add a little bit of this lace, just kind of tuck it in, you know, behind there. Want to have some layers. You know, I don't want to just glue, you know, different pieces of paper on the front. I did really want to add some of the other embellishments. That way, kind of give you an idea. If you purchased, you know, many of you purchased the junk journal box with the fabric and lace add-on. Some of you did the mixed media bundle add-on. Some the ephemera, some the cheesecloth. So I'm just trying to give some different ideas of how you can incorporate, you know, all of those add-ons with the junk journal box. Most of the embellishments and items that we're using are from the junk journal box itself, and then some from the fabric and lace bundle, and then of course this beautiful blue, you know, I call it like a navy or, you know, nautical blue, from the cheesecloth bundle. And I really just love the color, especially with the colors of these papers. So now I'm adding some of the Mermaid Teal paste that we came out with this month. Absolutely love it. It's just so beautiful. It just looks like beautiful blue water. I absolutely love it. So I definitely wanted to add that onto our netting in the back. Just kind of add a little color, make it pop a little bit, because it's all kind of one note. And I want to, you know, have it pop. So that is a way that you can incorporate that paste that you received in your mixed media bundle. And I'm sorry for hitting the, I'm trying out a new deal, and I have to sit it on the table in order to get it on top. And it's a really cool thing. I just, you know, something new, got to get used to it. So now in this video, I actually made this video the next day, which was yesterday, Monday. Monday was not a good day for me. It's just kind of one of them days. It just, you know, you have those days, nothing goes right. And it was like, oh my God. So I'm probably going to be shaking the table a lot. I think I'm just kind of frustrated getting all of my frustration out for the day. And you will be able to see, you know, how I pushed on through in this particular part of the video. It was a struggle. It was a struggle to really be creative, keep my head in the game, you know, really. I mean, you can already see on the cardstock that I cut for the spine, I accidentally cut it. When I cut the paper, I cut for the 2 pieces for the front and back inside of the cover, I cut it down all the way. I was like, oh man, I wasn't supposed to do that. I was supposed to cut the spine part first and then cut the other in half. So I thought, you know, we're just going to roll with it. And, you know, I think I can fuse it together where you can't notice it too much. And then I ended up distressing the edge that's supposed to butt up to the other piece. And I was like, whatever. I'm going to just glue it down and we're just going to go at it anyway. So, so anyway, so I'm gluing this down. And then I realized, oh man, I am supposed to put the muslin and connect the pieces so I have, you know, my cover all connected. So you'll see me ripping up stuff and gluing stuff back down, and I didn't do hardly any editing other than just making it faster so you didn't have to sit through 30 minutes of this. But you know, I thought, you know, let's just be real. We have days that are good and days that are not so good, and I was determined that I was going to get this tutorial done, that I was going to craft and enjoy it. And the first part of the crafting was not as enjoyable because I kept messing up and then forgetting what I was supposed to be doing, and you know, I just laughed. You know, you just sit back and you just laugh. You either laugh or you're going to cry, that's for sure. So, so anyway, I thought, you know, I'm just going to show y'all what goes on. You know, it's not all perfect over here at Dana Girls Design. Some days are good and some days are not so good. And we tend to see a lot of videos where, you know, everything's edited, everything looks perfect, everything looks like it's going smoothly. And sometimes you feel like you just can't measure up with that. And I was like, you know, those people have struggles. They have struggles. You know, they edit it, they make it look like everything's hunky-dory, but they're going through struggles too. And I thought, you know, I'm going to show you that I struggled through this video. And, you know, so that way you don't feel alone. Don't feel alone. You're never alone. We're all going through things at one point or another. So, so in the end, it did look good. I covered up most of my boo-boos, so I think we're good to go on this for sure. You know, at least the glue hadn't set to the point where I didn't tear the paper up too bad, and so that's good. And I basically just used a couple of muslin strips, or you can use any material, any kind of cotton fabric that you've got laying around. You could use the Tyvek and glue cheesecloth on top of it, or, you know, just whatever you wanted to use. Since I did use the muslin, I thought, you know, I don't really need the Tyvek. I'm just going to use the muslin. That will work perfect. So that is what I did. And, you know, again, I'm just sorry for it shaking so much. It's a lot of like pressing down and moving my hands back and forth on the paper, you know, wanting to make sure everything's laying flat. So anyway, it tends to shake the camera. I'm still working on this. This is probably maybe the third video I've done using this, so you know, sometimes it takes a few times or so, and I'm learning as I go on this. And so I like to apply a pretty good bit of glue when I'm gluing down the fabric. You know, I want to make sure it adheres right, has plenty to stick to. You don't want that coming up. I've done it to where I didn't put enough glue on the fabric to adhere to the chipboard or the paper, and then stuff starts coming up. So I kind of lift it up. I want to make sure that everything's, you know, kind of aligned right. It's looking pretty straight when you know, take the chipboard, and then of course the paper. You want everything to kind of line up pretty good, and it looks pretty good. It's looking pretty good. So now you'll notice on the bottom of the cardstock there, I've got a little gap. And so to cover that up, I'm just going to put some pockets there. And I thought, you know, I love this cheesecloth. I'm just going to add a little cheesecloth pocket. It's not anything to hold like a bunch of stuff in, you know, but you might want to just, you know, maybe put a couple of postcards in there, or a little picture, or some receipts or something. A lot of time I use these pockets as kind of a catch-all, put it in there, and then eventually I'll get around to gluing it on the pages and journaling about it. And then I want to add some lace to this part, make that a nice cover. And I like to put a pretty good bit of glue I feel like the more glue you put, maybe the better it'll hold. So, and you know, I'm just kind of tapping it a little bit with my brush and kind of moving it around. You know, I want to make sure I get enough glue on there. And so overall, I think the tutorial went well. If you have any questions at all, let me know. Thank you so much for watching.